A place for information and talk.
Power 98.7. Now we're talking.
All right, 19 minutes past 7 o'clock on Power Business, this Monday edition of the show, proudly brought to you by MTN. Today we make moves. Let's get into this next conversation now. Now we enter the deal room, where we shine the spotlight on some of the biggest moves, smartest deals, and unexpected shifts in Africa's business landscape. From game-changing mining restructures, to bold property transactions and strategic acquisitions, we unpack what happened in the past 7 days and what could possibly shape the week ahead. And joining us now is Cleo Mavimbela, investment officer at Nehawu Investment Holdings, joining us now on Power Business to take us through the latest or the multi-billion-dollar landscape. Cleo, very good evening and good to have you with us on Power Business.
Good evening, Nosipho. Thanks for having me on the line. Greetings to your listeners.
Oh, fantastic. So, Cleo, looking then back at the past week, talk to us about which transaction or corporate move grabbed your attention most and possibly why, because we saw moves in the mining sector, insurance and financial services. Take us through what you're seeing.
No, sure, great. I would start in the mining sector by looking at what Exxaro has been doing. What stood out for us as a team was the Exxaro transaction in terms of the acquisition of the manganese transaction. And that, transaction stood out for us for a number of reasons, given its strategic and consequential nature for Exxaro as a firm. Listeners would be aware that Exxaro has been engaged in its bold strategic diversification beyond the coal assets that have kept them going. We view this as a transformational pivot for Exxaro, which has been known predominantly for its coal-focused exercises. So by acquiring a substantial stake in a manganese asset, that gives it then, a proactive response to the global decarbonization agenda. It's helping it reduce its long-term exposure to fossil fuels, and in a sense, positioning itself within the critical mineral value chain that is essential for steel production and battery technologies. I'm appreciating that we could see a future where EV vehicles are the thing, and storing capabilities that are powered or and draw their strength from EV batteries. And second, the scale and the impact of the market at a headline value of circa 14.6 billion. This is not just a bolt-on transaction. It's a scale-changing transaction. It's a deal of magnitude scale. And this transaction basically sees Exxaro securing a major stake in multiple high-quality manganese assets, including a 74% holding of Mavimbela Mining, which is a good player in that sector, and 51% of the Makola manganese. And also, Exxaro has been spending quite a bit in terms of the logistics function, given the collapse of Transnet. And this transaction will basically enable Exxaro to have access to logistics, marketing, and trading infrastructure via the 2 targets that they essentially acquiring, and to enhance their control of their value chain. There's also, a strategic mineral at the right time. Manganese is increasingly recognizing some value driven by global steel demand, the emergence of EV batteries, and South Africa's dominance in terms of the reserves that are sitting within the Kalahari manganese field, one of the world's richest deposits at the last count. Again, what tricks us as deal teams is the complexity and the flexibility of the transaction. It involves multiple counterparties, and there's quite interesting things to deal with there from, regulatory point of view, and from the finance and other sectors that would basically encompass that. So we don't just see this as an opportunistic play by Exxaro, but it's a highly structured, strategic aligned transaction with their long-term value vision.
Yeah, certainly. Cleo, let's stay then with mining sector moves, because we also saw Anglo American's demerger of Valterra Platinum and its share consolidation. That's, quite a strategic shift. Talk to us about the thinking behind this. How could it reshape the platinum mining landscape then in Southern Africa?
No, certainly. I mean, the demerger of Valterra Platinum by Anglo American, basically, and it's coupled with the structure of that. It involves a share consolidation, which essentially serves as a strategic purpose, and the potential implications of that sector as a whole are quite immense and great. But from an Anglo-American standpoint, I mean, it offers them, strategic purpose from a portfolio optimization and a focus position. So what we've seen Anglo-American doing, and they have been streamlining their portfolio to concentrate on core assets such as copper, premium iron ore, and crop nutrients by basically demeasuring from Valterra Platinum. What Anglo-American is doing to try and unlock, the hidden value in both businesses by allowing themselves to basically pursue an independent growth strategy without being constrained by the priorities of, a bigger and a larger diversified group. And secondly, as well, there is that consolidation and enhancement within the value creation, on both ends of the equation. Investors can now value Valterra Platinum on a standalone basis, which may reveal its true market potential as a focused platinum group playing in the PGM space. And obviously, from an investor point of view, this often leads to high investor confidence and improved capital allocation. But again, what's also interesting to look at is, the efficient capital management by Anglo. Anglo will be in a position to retain the minority stake of roughly 19 to 20%, and providing optionality to exit gradually while managing that exposure. So the share consolidation on itself as well, and reducing the shares in issue and adjusting the nominal value will then support a capital structure refinement and will improve earnings per share and the share price perception. We see that taking place in the short to medium tenure. And, your question was also touching on the impact in terms of the overall platinum mining landscape. What we may see is in the creation of a dedicated PGM player, and Valterra Platinum may emerge as a pure play in terms of platinum group metals, potentially becoming a major independent force within the global sector. This will also enhance market clarity and positioning. But also from a competition standpoint, this increases the competitive dynamics. And obviously then the potential re-rating of the sector valuations. We should then see capital allocation taking a play in different sectors. But in summary, the demerger allows Anglo-American to sharpen its strategic focus while positioning the PGM player to pursue growth independently and reshaping the competitive dynamics within the platinum mining industry.
Yeah, certainly, Cleo. So let's shift gear then. Look then at the insurance and financial services. We've got Clientele. They've finalized their acquisition of micro insurer Emerald Life. Talk to us about the strategic value here and how could this strengthen Clientele's market share in life insurance and financial services?
No, certainly. I mean, when Clientele came in the sector, a few of our counterparties weren't really clear about their growth path. But what we see in this acquisition of Emerald Life is a strategically significant move that is likely to enhance Clientele's position in the life insurance and the financial services market, in several important ways. I mean, the exposure that Emerald Life has will allow Clientele to basically expand its market reach and customer base. Emerald Life is expected to bring new distribution channels, products, and potentially underserved market segments to Clientele. This can then serve as a diversification strategy, or basically Clientele will see this as an option or an opportunity to diversify its client base and boost its penetration into new demographics, new geographical markets, particularly if Emerald Life has a niche product and loyal customer pool. And secondly, this will also strengthen Clientele's product portfolio. Our understanding is that they've acquired 100% of Emerald Life, so that gives Clientele full control over all existing product systems and IP that Emerald would have developed over time. And also this enables Clientele to integrate and expand its product suite, offering more tailored life insurance and financial services solutions that could appeal to a wider and more differentiated market. Therefore, in a sense, cementing its play and market position. And also, there are operational and strategic synergies that could also come out. We're talking cost efficiencies, cross-selling opportunities, and the client value per customer might as well improve. Not mentioning innovative funding structures that will yield financial agility. So it is a very significant deal to clientele, and it will help their book look much better, better diversification, and potentially improved revenue streams.
All right, Cleo, we're going to have to leave it there. We won't be able to, we've run out of time, so we won't be able to look at what we can expect in the week ahead. But thank you so much for taking us through that conversation on the Deal Room.
Thank you, Nosipho. Cheers.
All right, Cleo Mavimbela there, Investment Officer at Nehawu Investment Company, taking us through this evening's edition of the Deal Room.